I stood in the lobby of the Hilton in downtown Albany. Thursday night. 10:03 p.m. No suitcase. No expression. The front desk had a glass bowl of business cards and a fake smile behind it. Outside, March wind pushed hard against the glass doors. I wasn't here for rest. Melanie, my wife, was in the same building. Not with me. She was on the 12th floor, in bed with a man whose name she moaned 2 weeks ago, the night of our anniversary. I'd known about them for months. At first, it was just the way her voice changed. Then came the missed calls, the soft clicks when I walked into the room. And then the name. She whispered it in the dark, just loud enough. Not mine. Not a mistake. She said, "Yes, Kane." Clear. Confident. I held the sound in my head like a photograph, tone, rhythm, timing. After that, everything fell into place. My name is Donald Taft. 34. Born and raised in Albany. Yard doctor at the city hospital. Or I was, until a forced leave of absence. Officially for burnout. Unofficially for clarity. She didn't know I'd stopped working. She never asked? Melanie is 32. Loan officer at a national bank. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment near the hospital. No kids. Combined income over $250,000 a year. We were supposed to be shopping for houses this spring. Planning a family? But she had other plans. The first crack showed in December. Dinner reservation, delayed text, forced laugh. A week later, Carol, a nurse I work with, mentioned seeing Melanie at a downtown restaurant. Not with me. With another man. Kane Atchison. Local businessman. Married. 2 kids. She called him. Just a friend. I didn't correct her. I logged into the phone records instead. Checked her location history. Cross-checked restaurant charges with Kane's business card she didn't know I found. It all matched. I didn't come to the Hilton for confrontation. I already had the answers. I came for confirmation. For stillness. No raised voices. No fights. Just closure. I stepped to the desk and asked to be connected to Kane Atchison's room. The clerk dialed. No answer. I nodded, showed my keycard under a fake reservation I made a week earlier. Room 1207. Donald Savage. The elevator opened. I pressed 12. Smooth ride. Hands in pockets. My face in the mirror, same features, different eyes. Not tired. Not angry. Focused. The 12th floor hallway was lit with hotel calm. Carpet muted my steps. Cameras blinked in the corners. Their room, 1204. Light under the door. Still. This wasn't rage. It wasn't heartbreak. It was the same silence I knew from surgery prep. When the decision is already made, and all that's left is precision. I stood outside the room where my marriage ended. And my plan began. 2 weeks earlier, she said his name. It was the night of our anniversary, 8 years since our first date. I planned everything, filet mignon from her favorite place, the red dress she hadn't worn in 2 years laid out on the bed, a bottle of Amarone breathing on the counter. I told her to be home by 7. She walked in at 7:24. She blamed traffic. No apology. No kiss. She went straight to the bedroom, said she'd freshen up. The wine was already warm by the time she sat down. I asked about her day. She said, "Boring." I asked about work. She shrugged. I said she looked great in the dress. She said it felt tight. Everything about her was off, posture, voice, how she chewed. By dessert, she had loosened up. We sat on the couch with our glasses half full. She curled her legs under her. I touched her hand. When things turned physical, she wasn't really present. Eyes half closed. Slow to respond. But I played along. Not for connection, for data. That's when it happened. A whisper. Close to my ear. Soft breath against my jaw. "Oh, Kane!" She didn't notice what she said, not immediately. But I did. I froze. I didn't flinch. I didn't speak. I watched her pupils shift. Her whole body stiffened a second too late. She smiled, but the color drained from her cheeks. She started to say something. I kissed her forehead and stood up. "Long day," I said. "I'll clean up." She sat there, silent. I took the dishes to the sink. Turned the water on. She didn't follow. When I came back, she was gone. Bedroom door closed. Light off underneath. I didn't sleep that night. At 3:12 a.m., I started the list. A single sheet of printer paper. Confirmed at the top. Then bullet points, names, dates, receipts, details. Things she thought were invisible. Things I let slide for too long. The next day, I contacted a private investigator. And a lawyer. By the end of the week, I had her passcode. I had a synced folder from her cloud. I had access to her deleted messages. I didn't need to confront her. I needed to understand her. I created a timeline, a digital one. Labeled. Tagged. Categorized by behavior. By keyword. By time of day. I noticed her patterns. When she lied. When she drank more. When she sent him photos. This wasn't rage. This was research. Now, standing in front of room 1204, I didn't feel doubt. I felt clarity. Inside, Kane Atchison was sleeping with my wife, again. But this time, I had leverage. And I was about to use it. 2 days after the anniversary, she bought new lingerie. She never wore it around me. It was folded in the third drawer of her dresser, beneath an old concert tee and a silk scarf she hadn't touched since 2019. I found it while looking for my spare phone charger. Black lace, tag still attached, receipt tucked inside the box. Not my size. Not my style. When I asked if she wanted to go out that weekend, try the new wine bar downtown, she said she had plans with Emily from work. She always used Emily. I checked Emily's Instagram while Melanie was in the shower. Emily was in Vermont. That night, she left the apartment in a loose coat and heels she hadn't worn in a year. Lipstick sharp. No wedding ring. I didn't follow her. I tracked her location from my laptop. Hilton again. Same time as last week. Same floor. Consistency, not caution. That's what betrayed her. I made a copy of the keycard code through a hotel employee I knew from college. Small favor, big payoff. I didn't need to barge in. Not yet. Instead, I built the file. Audio logs. Screenshots. Voice memos. Even the way she said, "Hey," to him. Higher pitch, drawn out. Intimacy doesn't hide. It echoes. She began acting kinder at home. Brought me coffee. Rubbed my shoulders. Asked how I slept. But she didn't make eye contact when she did it. Her smile lasted a second too long. When I told her I might extend my medical leave, she said, "That's probably good. You've seemed distant." No irony. No pause. She was laying the groundwork. Gaslighting before I could accuse her. Kane, meanwhile, was getting bold. He sent her flowers at work. I saw the charge on our joint account, billed to a fake LLC he used for his landscaping business. I traced it to his warehouse. I recorded the delivery. She told me they were from a client. She lied while holding the card. "I didn't even check the name," she said, laughing. But she had folded the note and tucked it into her purse. I watched her. Every movement was off by 2 degrees. Every sentence rehearsed in the mirror. She was slipping. And I was counting the days. Saturday morning. 8:47 a.m. She made coffee. That wasn't normal. Usually I brewed it. She never cared for the process, said it took too long. But this time, she was already in the kitchen when I woke up. Mug in hand. Light roast. A splash of almond milk, no sugar. My exact preference. She smiled like it meant something. "Figured I'd take care of you for once." That phrase lingered. I watched her stir the coffee with a silver spoon from the back of the drawer, one we never used. Not the usual teaspoons. This one had initials etched into the stem. I remembered where it came from, a gift set we got from Kane's wife at a charity brunch last year. I'd forgotten about the spoons. She hadn't. Melanie placed the mug in front of me. Sat down across the table. Fingers interlaced. Eyes a little too wide. She was trying. Not to reconnect, but to restore balance. To make me feel seen. To stall. Thinking we should take a weekend trip, she said. Just us. Get out of the city. She hadn't suggested that in over a year. I asked where she had in mind. She said, somewhere quiet. I asked when. She said, soon. Her vagueness was intentional. She was probing. Measuring how much I suspected. I gave her nothing. Later that day, I checked the back drawer again. The spoon was gone. I waited until Monday morning. Her usual routine, leave by 7:15, back by 6. She always said traffic on the I-90 was insane lately. I let her think I believed it. Instead, I left 10 minutes after she did. Tracked her car. She didn't go to the bank. She parked 2 blocks from a small cafe near Lark Street. Waited in the lot. Kane's truck pulled in at 7:41. She got out of her car and into his. I watched from my car. Windows tinted. Engine off. They didn't kiss. Not then. He touched her face. She leaned in. Laughed. Then they drove off. She came home that evening with a grocery bag and said traffic was a nightmare. I nodded. She handed me a carton of eggs and a bottle of wine. Figured you could use a break. Same line. Same delivery. But she never bought that brand of wine before. I placed the bottle on the counter. Watched her walk down the hall. When she turned the corner, I picked up the cork and turned it over. Faint mark. One I'd etched myself, months ago. On a bottle I gave Kane as a thank you gift when he helped fix our patio railing. She didn't know I'd started marking everything I gave him. But I did. Tuesday night, I opened the laundry basket. Something was off. Her clothes were usually sorted, work blouses, gym leggings, the usual mix. But buried at the bottom was a folded men's t-shirt. Black. Faded. Not mine. It had a stretched collar and smelled like cheap aftershave, not the kind I wear, not anything I've ever kept in the house. I held it between 2 fingers and stared at it for 10 full seconds. Then I put it back. Same position. Same fold. That evening, she came home wearing a blue wrap dress. Hair curled. Fresh lipstick. Her earrings were new, silver hoops. Still tagged at the clasp. She'd peeled the label off in the car. I checked the bin. She walked in with a smile, leaned against the kitchen doorway. You look tired, she said. I didn't answer. She walked to the fridge, pulled out a bottle of seltzer, held it up. Want one? I nodded. As she opened it, I watched her wrists. No bracelet. The one Kane gave her, white gold, tiny diamond studs, was missing. Later that night, I brought up the t-shirt. Found a shirt in the laundry, I said. She blinked. Too quick. Oh yeah, that's yours, right? I said no. She shrugged. Maybe you got it ages ago. One of those gym shirts. I said I don't go to the gym. Pause. Then, oh. I think Kane left it once. That time he helped with the railing. He didn't come inside. He did, briefly. To wash his hands. He left a shirt to wash his hands? She looked down. I don't know, Don. Why does it matter? Her tone had shifted. Defensive now. She was reaching for normalcy, for an anchor she could still control. But her voice cracked halfway through the sentence. I nodded. Doesn't matter. She smiled, relieved too fast. That night I got into bed after she fell asleep. Her phone was on the nightstand. I didn't touch it. Didn't need to. I opened the nightstand drawer on my side. Pulled out the small notebook I'd been keeping. Under the day's entry, I wrote 5 words. She's starting to slip badly. I flipped to the earlier pages, reread the pattern. Tuesdays were always hers and Kane's. She usually picked fights Wednesday morning. Thursday, she overcompensated, breakfast, compliments, soft touches. It was a script. And she was sticking to it. Friday morning? 6:42 a.m. She left a cup of tea on the nightstand. That was new. Melanie doesn't make tea. She hates the smell. I remembered her saying that the first year we dated, when I offered her a cup during flu season. It smells like boiled grass, she said, nose wrinkled. But this morning, she brewed it, mint, lemon, a cinnamon stick floating on top. She said she thought I needed something calming. I stared at the cup for a long time. Didn't drink it. After she left, I took the mug into the kitchen. Rinsed it. Dried it. Then I placed it on the top shelf of the cabinet, behind the glassware we never use. Every object she altered, I moved. Logged. Archived. I wasn't trying to save the marriage. I was preserving the scene. That night, I pretended to sleep on the couch. She tiptoed past me around midnight, clutching her phone, screen dimmed. Bedroom door closed. I waited. 2 minutes later, the door opened again. She walked back into the living room. I kept my breathing steady. She stood over me for a long moment. Then pulled the blanket over my shoulder. Light touch. Almost tender. But not hers. Practiced. As if mimicking something Kane did for her. She went back to the bedroom. At 3:06 a.m. I got up. Quiet. No lights. I opened her closet and took pictures, heels missing, her blue coat gone. The coat she always wore when she saw him. Always that one. Kane had complimented it once at a barbecue, said it made her look dangerous. I remembered that word. She wore it every time after that. I checked the trash. Nothing visible. I opened the bathroom cabinet. Her perfume bottle had moved, 2 inches left, cap twisted loose. The scent was stronger than usual. Sweeter. Not the one I gave her for our 5th anniversary. That bottle was behind the others now, dust on the nozzle. When she woke up, she asked if I wanted to grab brunch. Her voice was bright, almost cheerful. We could walk down to Hamilton's, she said. Get some air. I nodded. Sure. We never went. At 10:14, she got a call. Said it was work. Took it in the bedroom. I walked outside. Circled the building. Saw her silhouette through the window. Sitting on the edge of the bed, laughing. Not a work call. Not even pretending anymore. Saturday. Midday. Rain on the windows. She said she was meeting Abby for lunch. Abby moved to Texas in January. I didn't correct her. She wore the same lipstick from our anniversary night. Same heels. Same blue coat. But this time, her hair was straighter, deliberate. She was dressing for someone else's memory. She left at 12:22. I waited 10 minutes, then opened her drawer. The velvet earring box was open. Inside, one hoop. Silver. The other was missing. I already knew where it was. Behind the passenger seat of her car. I saw it 2 days ago when I checked the glove box for insurance papers. It had fallen, half covered in lint, and a crumpled receipt from the Palisade Grill. Dinner for 2. Thursday night. 9:48 p.m. She told me she was working late. I took a photo of the receipt. Left the earring where it was. At 1:07 p.m., her location showed up 3 miles south, corner of Grant and Porter. Kane's warehouse office. She'd been there before. Never admitted it. I had 3 time-stamped images from different weeks. Same location. Same car. Different lies. At 2:15 she called. Heading home. Traffic's awful. I said nothing. She paused. Want me to pick anything up? Lemons, I said. A beet. Lemons? For the tea. She laughed. Still drinking that? I didn't answer. She came back at 3:08. Wind in her hair, coat damp. She kissed me on the cheek, second time that week. then walked straight to the bathroom. The cup was still on the top shelf. I checked. She didn't notice. Later that night, we watched a movie. She curled against my side, head on my shoulder. Soft breathing. I watched the reflection in the TV screen, her face, faint and ghosted in the black. The earring was back in her ear. I checked her purse when she fell asleep. The receipt was gone. Torn in half. Flushed, probably. She thought that was enough. But the photo was already uploaded. Cloud sync. Time-locked folder. Sunday morning, she made pancakes. Smiled. Poured coffee into the mug with the initials. "You've been so patient lately," she said. She kissed me again. The lies were bleeding through her voice now. Every word was half-rotten. But she didn't see it. She never noticed that I had stopped answering. Monday. I installed the camera. It was a basic setup, motion-triggered, night vision, cloud upload. No sound. Just video. I mounted it behind the vent grill in the hallway, angled towards the living room. She wouldn't notice. She never cleaned it. The decision wasn't impulsive. I'd had the equipment for weeks. Still sealed. Still boxed. I waited for the exact moment her lies crossed into carelessness. That moment came Sunday night, when she called me, babe, twice in a row, something she hadn't said since the first year of our marriage. Her tone was wrong. The smile didn't reach her eyes. She was repeating someone else's script. Kane's, probably. The camera activated that same night at 11:22 p.m. I was on call at the hospital, a shift I picked up deliberately, just to be gone. She knew I wouldn't be home. She didn't know I could watch in real time. At 11:36, she unlocked the door. Her coat was unbuttoned. Makeup still fresh. She moved quickly, phone in hand, glancing over her shoulder. She paced. Checked the blinds. Turned off the porch light. Then she stood in the center of the room, waiting. At 11:49, Kane entered. I paused the feed. Took a screenshot. 2 bodies. 1 lie. Frozen. He didn't kiss her. He dropped a duffel bag by the couch. She laughed at something he said. Then they walked out of frame. Bedroom. I didn't keep watching. I didn't need to. The goal wasn't to feel. It was to collect. By morning, the files were organized. Labeled. Encrypted. I called my lawyer and asked for an update on the trust amendment. He said, "Still waiting on her signature. She'll sign it this week," I said. Melanie came home that evening like nothing had happened. She brought takeout. Thai. My favorite, or what used to be. She said she missed dinners like this. I asked how work was. She said, "Crazy." I nodded. After dinner, she suggested we get away, the same vague offer she'd made last week. A cabin. Just us. Reset everything. I asked, "What would we be resetting?" She paused. Her fork stopped midair. Then, you know. All the stress. Life. Work. We've been off. Off. That was her word. Not broken. Not distant. Just off. I smiled. The camera got everything. Audio was unnecessary. Her body language told the whole story. Tuesday. I called in a favor. An old classmate from med school, now in private security. Quiet work, mostly digital. Background scans, asset checks, low-profile surveillance. I gave him Kane's full name and the license plate from the truck outside our apartment 2 Fridays ago. By noon, I had the report. Kane Atchison, 41. Owner of Atchison Property Group. Landscaping and renovation contracts. His business was leveraged, 3 open lines of credit, 2 delinquent vendors. He was in debt. The duffel bag he dropped on our couch? Probably gear for side jobs. Possibly personal effects. He'd been storing things in client properties, including ours. His wife, Lorraine, filed for legal separation last year. Quietly. No press. No ring on his finger since February. 2 kids. 1 custody motion delayed due to financial complications. Melanie knew. She had to. That afternoon, I checked her text archive again. Found an old message buried in the cloud sink, a fragment from last November. He says I should stop waiting for you to notice. That I deserve more. Date, November 19th. The night she worked late and came home smelling like his cologne. She wasn't just cheating. She was reframing our marriage to justify it. In the evenings, she started playing with our budget spreadsheet, something she hadn't touched in years. She asked what I thought about refinancing. Mentioned how we could cash out some equity later. We don't own a home. We rent. That wasn't a mistake. That was rehearsal. I responded with a question. Is Kane having money problems? She didn't blink. What? You mentioned his name last night. In your sleep. That part was a lie. She went still. Didn't speak. I looked at her calmly. You said don't worry, Kane. He doesn't know. Still no answer. Then a laugh. Short. Forced. Wow. That's weird. Weird? Yeah. I don't even remember dreaming. I waited. She asked, do you think I'm cheating? I shook my head. Because if you do, she said, just say it. You'd lie. Pause. Then softer. You don't trust me anymore. I said nothing. She got up and walked to the bedroom. Door closed. Lock clicked. She never locked it before. Thursday. 4:12 p.m. I called Kane. He didn't recognize the number. Hello? I didn't speak at first. Just let him breathe. Then, I want you to listen. Click. Call ended. I called back. He declined. Third time he answered. I don't know who this is, but... Room 1204. March 14th. You dropped your bag by my couch. Silence. I'm not your wife's enemy, Kane. I'm just the one who cleaned up your fingerprints. Another pause. Then, what do you want? Nothing you can give. He tried to regain footing. If you're threatening me. I'm not. I can have you arrested for harassment. I laughed quietly. Your landscaping company billed my wife's bank for services never rendered. Fake LLC. Fake line item. I can forward the screenshots to Lorraine's attorney. He went quiet. I'm not angry, I said. I'm informed. He hung up. 10 minutes later, Melanie called me. She didn't mention Kane. She asked if I wanted to go out for dinner. I said yes. We went to a steakhouse she used to hate. That night she loved everything. The wine. The music. The bread. She kept reaching across the table, touching my hand, leaning in close. She was watching me now. Studying my microreactions. Noticing that something had shifted. But not understanding why. She asked if I was okay. Better than I've been in years. She smiled. Not relieved, nervous. When we got home, she lit candles. Said she wanted to slow things down, reconnect. Her voice had a tremble to it now. Not from guilt. From uncertainty. The control was slipping. At 2:14 a.m., her phone buzzed. She was asleep. I checked the notification. Unknown number. He called me. What did you tell him? I took a screenshot. Forwarded it to my email. Deleted the original. I waited until Friday morning. Then I printed a full packet, screenshots, photos, timestamps, transcripts. Bound it. Labeled it, Melanie Atchison, Liability Exposure. I dropped it into a manila envelope and placed it inside a courier sleeve. Delivery address, Kane's business office. Attention, Lorraine Atchison. No return address. Scheduled for Monday delivery. 9 a.m. Sunday afternoon. Rain again. She baked. Melanie never bakes. Cinnamon muffins. Apron on. Hair tied. She moved through the kitchen like it was a stage. Smile rehearsed. Voice steady. But every motion had an edge to it, too smooth, too precise. She asked if I wanted one. I declined. Still not eating sweets? Still not lying? She laughed like I'd made a joke. I didn't correct her. I watched her hands. She wore the bracelet again, the one Kane gave her. She thought I wouldn't notice. But the clasp had a chip in it. I'd filed it down a month ago, just enough to track the reflection under light. It caught the sun through the window, flickered once, then vanished. Later that evening, I told her I wanted to update our documents, wills, insurance, medical proxies. She agreed too fast. I said it would make things easier if something happened. She nodded like she understood. I handed her the folder. Sign this one tonight. It's time sensitive. She didn't read it. Just flipped to the last page and signed. What she signed: consent to transfer assets into my name for the duration of my leave. Power of attorney for medical and financial access. All legal. All binding. Witness signature handled by notary earlier that morning. She never saw it. At 10:22 p.m., I logged into our joint drive. Copied every video, every message, every photo into a lockbox account under my name only. Set permissions to private. 2 backups, one on a secure USB, one with my lawyer. At 11:37, Melanie curled up next to me on the couch. Rested her head on my chest. "We're going to be okay," she whispered. I looked at the screen. A pause framed from earlier footage, her in the kitchen texting. Kane's name at the top. I said, "We already are." Monday morning. She left early. Said she had a presentation. At 9:03 a.m., the courier scanned the package at Kane's office. Lorraine signed for it. At 10:16, Kane called her. 7 missed calls. Then silence. By noon, Lorraine had filed a formal complaint with the state licensing board, using the financial data I included. At 2:01 p.m., I got a confirmation email from my attorney. Melanie's power was dissolved. At 4:17, she called me. "Everything okay?" I asked. Her voice was flat. "I don't know. You sound tired." "I am. You should get some rest." Pause. Then she said it. "Don, did something happen?" I looked out the window. Blue sky clear now. Finally. "I don't think anything new happened," I said. "I think something old finally ended." Tuesday morning. 8:42 a.m. I walked into her bank. Polished floor. Fluorescent lighting. Same smell, printer toner and recycled air. Melanie's office was in the back, past the glass divider. She didn't see me. I asked the front desk for the branch manager. Said my name clearly. Told them I had a document to submit, a formal ethics concern tied to employee-client interaction. They led me into a conference room. 10 minutes later he arrived. Gray suit. Cautious smile. "What can I do for you?" I handed him the folder. Inside, dated receipts, communication logs, a list of unauthorized financial transactions involving Kane's landscaping business and Melanie's approval codes. All cross-referenced with internal account numbers, pulled from screenshots Melanie stored in her unencrypted photo roll. I kept my tone neutral. "She's not a criminal," I said. "But she's sloppy." He didn't respond right away. Just turned the pages. When he reached the last sheet, a freeze frame of Kane entering our apartment with a labeled timestamp, he closed the folder. "I see." I stood up. That's all I needed. I walked past Melanie's office on the way out. She looked up. Saw me. Smile halfway formed, then stalled. She tilted her head. I waved once. She didn't wave back. At 11:12 a.m., I received a text. "Melanie, what did you do?" No punctuation. I didn't respond. By 3 p.m., her name was no longer on the employee directory online. By 6 p.m., she was home, early. Her eyes were red. She sat down on the couch without a word. I made tea. Brought her a cup. mint, lemon, cinnamon stick. She stared at it. Then, I lost everything today, I said. You didn't lose it. She looked at me. You gave it away. She didn't cry. Not yet. She was still calculating. Still looking for a narrative. But the variables were gone. I watched her pick at the edge of the cup, the same one I'd shelved weeks ago. The glaze was cracked now. Spider-veined. She didn't notice. At 9:40 p.m., Kane tried calling again. Twice. I had his number blocked. But the notification still came through on the sync log. At 10:03, Melanie deleted his contact. I saw that too. But it didn't matter. By then, Lorraine had already sent copies of the financial violations to the City Ethics Board. Kane wouldn't be a licensed contractor by Friday. And Melanie wouldn't be anyone's clean character reference again. Thursday morning. 7:02 a.m. She was already dressed. Sitting at the edge of the bed. Same blue coat. Same heels. No makeup. She hadn't said a word since Tuesday. Where are you going? I asked. She didn't turn. I don't know. I nodded. Then maybe sit down. She looked at me. Something hollow in her expression. No fight. No spin. I placed a folder on the table between us. Inside, a full summary of every step I'd taken, legal filings, property transfers, digital backups, revocation documents. Her signature on page 6. The timestamp from when she signed it. I read it, she said. No, I said. You signed it. I slid a second sheet forward, divorce terms. Clean. No alimony. No division. No contest. Filed that morning. I had full documentation of the affair. Full digital trail. And her consent under power of attorney. You've already done, I said. Silence. I thought I could fix this, she said. You fixed it for me. She flinched. I stood. Walked to the dresser. Pulled open the drawer. Took out the bracelet Kane gave her. Set it next to her. His license is suspended. Lorraine's suing for full custody. His business is finished. Her voice cracked. I didn't mean for. You picked him. You picked this. Tears started. Not loud. Not performative. Just slow, steady collapse. You could have said something earlier, she whispered. I did, I said. You called me Kane. That landed. She put her hand to her mouth. You said it in our home? On our anniversary. You said it like I wasn't there. She didn't respond. I turned toward the hallway. Stopped at the mirror. Same one she used every morning. The one by the door. I looked at her reflection. She was still sitting on the edge of the bed. Small now. Folded in. I'm leaving tomorrow, I said. To where? Doesn't matter. She stared. I'll be out by noon. The lease will be in your name. The lawyer will contact you for the final signature. She stood. Started toward me. Don. I raised a hand. Not loud. Not cruel. Just done. She stopped. I walked out of the room. Let the mirror keep the rest. Friday. 8 a.m. I walked into the HR office at the hospital. The administrator greeted me with a tight smile. She already knew. I'd sent the packet Thursday night, anonymized, timestamped, thorough. Not about Melanie. About Kane. One of Kane's biggest commercial contracts was with the hospital's facilities division, groundskeeping, winter clearing, seasonal maintenance. All approved under Melanie's digital sign-off from the bank. Conflict of interest. Falsified vendor independence. The contract was frozen by noon. Kane's remaining accounts, the ones tied to city work, were under immediate audit. Lorraine filed a formal ethics complaint against both him and Melanie. The board launched an internal investigation. And me? I declined to return from leave. I'd already accepted a research position in Boston. Start date, Monday. I left Albany that afternoon. But not before one final move. I scheduled an email. Sent from an anonymous burner. To Melanie's regional supervisor. It contained one video, the Hilton hallway footage. Dated. Clean. Unedited. The subject line. This is who approves your risk clients. Nothing else. No name. No comment. That night, I sat in a cafe 3 states away. Checked the delivery receipts. Read opened, 3:41 p.m. Forwarded, 3:44 p.m. At 6:19 p.m., Melanie called. I didn't answer. At 7:10 p.m., she sent one text. You win. She didn't ask for me back. Didn't beg. She knew better. By the end of the weekend, her name had been flagged in 2 internal bank reports. Ethics violations. Data misuse. Unauthorized access to client networks. Her job? Suspended pending review. Kane? Not responding to calls. Lorraine? Full custody. Frozen assets. By Sunday, the apartment was silent. She stayed. I didn't return. I left a box at the front door, her keepsakes. Bracelets. Photos. 1 letter. And signed. The locks changed Monday morning. She wouldn't be walking back into anything. It's been 3 weeks. The apartment's lease is under her name now. My name scrubbed from utilities, the mailbox, the lease registry. I left no trace. Just the echo of my absence. Dishes cleaned, drawers emptied, even the teacup gone from the top shelf. She messaged me once. I didn't know it would end like this. I didn't respond. There's nothing left to say to someone who watched it fall and stayed silent. Who heard her own voice call another man's name in the dark and chose to pretend the walls weren't listening. Boston is clean. New job. New keys. No blue coat in the closet. No bracelet on the dresser. Just space. I sleep better now. Sometimes I replay that night, not the betrayal, but the silence after. The way the wind moved outside the Hilton lobby. The way the elevator closed without sound. The moment I knew exactly who she was, not when she said his name, but when she smiled like I wouldn't remember. There's peace in precision. Melanie lost everything trying to control nothing. She underestimated silence. She forgot that some men don't explode, they document. And some husbands don't fight to fix the lie. They wait until it signs its own name. She broke the mirror. I walked away without ever looking back.